Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. Today I'm excited to share with you guys another product for your home. If you guys have been watching my videos, I've been reviewing watches for quite some time, but I've been kind of branching off into reviewing all different kinds of products. So I really enjoy sharing things that I'm able to either purchase or receive for my home, and this is no exception to that. And this device in front of me here is called the Quilo, and what this is basically a 3-in-1 fan that involves evaporative cooling and, of course, a humidifier built into one unit. The unit is very lightweight. The fan is very powerful. I don't know the exact rating as far as CFMs on the fan, but compared to a lot of fans I've had, this moves a lot of air. So I was going to read you a little bit about the device. I'll show you a couple of the features, show you how it works, and then I'll just tell you in my initial testing on what kind of results I got based on the humidity part of it. The one part of three, okay? So what does it have? The 3-in-1 involves a fan, evaporative cooler, and humidifier. The fan will circulate and ventilate room in the air. It does so very well. The evaporative cooler transforms warm, dry air into moist, cool air during warmer months. And it has the humidifier, which is part of that evaporative cooler system, helps release moisture and relieve chapping, dry air caused by heating and cold air during the winter months. So what is evaporative cooling? The Quilo QE1S evaporative cooler is built to maximize energy efficiency and keep energy costs low. Warm air is drawn into a cooler and enters the honeycomb media. Water pumped from the water tanks pours over the honeycomb cooling media. As warm air passes through the honeycomb cooling media, the water absorbs the heat, naturally cooling and humidifying the air. A fan propels the cooled air out into the room. There's no compressor in the system, there is no freon, and it's very efficient, they say, and inexpensive to operate. Now, I can tell you right now, as far as this being an air conditioner, it's not. The company states you're going to get up to a 10-degree difference on air temperature, and that's yet to be determined because right now it's a winter month here, and I haven't tested that yet. And I will test that at a later date, even in this winter month, maybe next week, to kind of give you an idea of just with this heating system running, what kind of effect you might get on the temperature, just for testing purposes. Now, for my testing purposes, I'm using a Foobot, which is a smart home device that sits in my bedroom, and it monitors volatile compounds, particulate matter, CO2, carbon monoxide as far as a warning if it detects that, and of course your temperature and humidity. Now, last couple of nights, I've been under the weather again. I've been having this year-long stomach issue, and my nose this year, due to the lack of humidity in the air, it's just been a mess. My sinuses are constantly bothering me. I'm coughing all the time. I wake up, I feel like I'm a smoker, and I'm not. So I had this running for a couple days, and I have to tell you, I don't know if it's the rest I've been getting or having extra humidity in the air. My nose is actually, last couple days, been feeling a little bit better. I find myself not coughing as much, and I'm not getting a lot of the dripping. Now, maybe it's coincidence, maybe just the extra rest has healed whatever I had going on, but nonetheless, that's been my initial results using this unit for the last couple days. As far as the humidity, my bedroom temperature is roughly about 68 to 70 degrees, and the humidity is roughly about 50% with my heating system running to keep that temperature. With this unit running, I was able to get an 11% increase on humidity to take it up to 61%. At that point, the morning came, the water was out of it, and the unit was off. So I'm not sure if we could take that number higher, but they say that 50 to 60% is a healthy range for humidity. I know before, when we had a little bit colder air, we were getting down to like the 35, so I could definitely feel the difference. And I never thought, maybe as I'm getting older, things affect me more, but I never thought it really made much of a difference in the past, but it does. As far as the features of the unit, it's, again, very, very lightweight. You have two handles on the sides. You have some rollers on the bottom, so it's very easy to roll around and transport from room to room. On the back side, you have a detachable grate, which covers they call it carbon filtering media, I believe it's called, carbon dust filter. And that's not going to be like a HEPA filter or anything like that. It's not an air filter or air purifier. What it does is basically just trap some of the larger particles from getting inside the evaporative cooling media. However, I will say though, even though it's not advertised, and again, I'm probably wrong, maybe not 100% right in this, but I would think that anytime you're pulling air through water and through a media like that, there is some sort of, I think, attraction between dust and the media. So I'm not sure where that ultimately ends up, because if the water is constantly circulating through until the water is completely gone and into the air, that dust has got to go somewhere. So I'm not really sure if this is something that may need maintaining at some point. You probably will have to replace that media at some point like any other filter, because I'm sure that dust has got to go somewhere. So, and I'll read about that in the manual, and as I re-review this device, I'll give you more information as I learn more. As far as the unit is concerned, you have a reservoir in the front with a max and minimum fill marking for your water. And of course, on the back of the unit on top, you have this other compartment here, which is where the water is pumped up, and it actually overflows this little kind of ledge here, and that gets evenly distributed through the cooling media, and the air is pulled through, and humidity is added, or moisture is added to the air, and of course that's where you get your cooling effect, because the water is actually trapping some of that heat. Now, I will say one thing about that. My opinion, and I could be wrong here, but my opinion is if you're pulling all that air through water and the water absorbing the heat, that water is just constantly circulating back through, so it's going to re-enter the room, so without some way of cooling it. So I think that's why the company recommends adding to the top, if you're going to use it for the evaporative cooling aspect of the device, is you add ice to the top of this reservoir. Now, I'm not really sure how often, and this is going to be determined based on your location and your temperature. I'm not really sure how long that ice chamber will actually last, but that's probably where you're going to get most of your cooling, because you have to keep that cold air colder than your exterior temperature. Running air through, I can't imagine how running air through just a media is going to chill the air. Now again, if you're living somewhere where it's very dry, adding humidity to the air might help that, but I think a very important factor is adding ice cubes in order to get this. That's just my opinion. I haven't tested it yet, but I will test it at a later date and get back to you guys on how effective this is at chilling the air. But I will tell you, first and foremost, it is very effective at circulating the air in your room that you're going to put it in, and it's very effective at adding moisture to the air, which I think is great. So far we got 2 out of the 3, so that's pretty good. You have some large louvers in the front here, and then you have a set of louvers on the inside where you can set this as with an oscillating feature, so it'll move back and forth. One thing to be noted, if you do put it in oscillating mode and you want to turn it off oscillating mode, you're going to want to make sure you turn it on to make sure that those louvers are straight forward. Otherwise, they'll stop wherever they stop. So if you have them turned all the way this way, it's going to be blowing air to the right or left. So you want to make sure you line it up if you're going to turn that feature off. These are manually adjusted. Of course, you have 3 different speed buttons on the fan, and I'll go ahead and turn this on right now. I've already filled the water level to minimum just for demonstration purposes. And remember, the company recommends anytime you're going to fill this with water, you unplug the unit, let it sit for 5 minutes, okay? Now, if you don't have the unit on and you're just about to turn it on, you need to fill it, of course, unplugging is sufficient. Letting it sit as if you've had it in evaporative cooling mode, what happens is because that water is being pumped up into the chamber and then recirculated back down through gravity, some water will actually drip if you remove this when it's in evaporative cooling mode, because that media hasn't completely drained yet. So you want to make sure you give it that 5 minutes to turn off if you have to refill this, and make sure you unplug it just as safety precaution. But I've already got it plugged in. I have the media, or the reservoir, minimum filled just to demonstrate. I'm going to turn the unit on. You have a display right here on top which shows whether the unit's powered on. If it's powered off in standby mode, that'll be orange. In our case, it's blue right now. The unit will default to kicking on low speed. Of course, I think we can probably... Yeah, so it's going to default to low. You have 3 different settings there, and then you have one other setting here, which I think we'll just cycle through. I'm not really sure on what that setting is. Since we got you right here, I probably should look this up ahead of time. Let's just see what they say is that setting. It's like a little circulating icon there. Oh, so you have low, medium, high, and auto. Okay, I'm not sure what the auto does, but maybe it circulates through those. I'm not really sure. Auto. When auto is selected, the wind speed will gradually decrease and increase between turbo and quiet mode. So that's kind of cool, right? So when we have turbo set, if we just jump right over to turbo mode, that's going to be your highest setting. It's hopefully you can hear it. It's definitely moving a lot of air right now, and it definitely is noisier compared to your standard fan, I will say. For me, that's not really an issue because you can easily just turn it into quiet mode or use one of the other settings. For me, I like it in turbo mode because I sleep with the sound of like white noise and waterfalls, so I need that extra noise to really get a good night's sleep. If it's too quiet, I don't sleep well. So let's go ahead and turn it on evaporative cooling mode. So we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. Also, before I forget, there is a timer, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and 4 hours. So that's kind of nice. If you're going to leave this on at night, you can just have it turn off. So we're going to turn on the evaporative cooling feature. And what's happening right now, I'm just going to show you guys. Water from the bottom, and you can see there's a kind of a light there that'll glow all this orange. It's pretty bright here right now, so it looks kind of dim, but it's not. If you open up the top of the unit, you'll see that water is actually being pumped out through this little spout right here and naturally falling down through the media right here. And you can't really see anything past the media, but that's filling with water and actually bringing air through that media and adding moisture and or humidity into the air and giving a cooling effect, which again was yet to be determined. And this is where they recommend you adding the ice cubes to keep that water cool. And I can see why they would do that, because again, if you're going to be running through, if the water is responsible for pulling heat out of the air, once that water becomes the room temperature, you're basically just recirculating room temperature water. So I don't see, other than adding humidity to the air, how that's going to cool the air. So that's probably why they want you to keep adding ice cubes to the top of this. Now I'm not sure how long ice cubes will last. I have a glass of ice water here. It's been about half an hour and they're still intact, but then again we're not running warmer air over this water, you know what I mean? So that's something yet to be determined. But again, as far as humidity is concerned, I was able to increase the humidity of my bedroom from 50% to 61% in a relatively short amount of time with this unit. So I think it's a great unit. I think that it's definitely something I want to test out more to determine how much of a cooling factor we're going to get. Again, I think that's really determined on how much ice you're going to put in this and what kind of temperature you're trying to cool. If you're in 90-degree weather, other than adding, it's definitely going to add humidity to the air, but I don't really think this is going to really do much for cooling the air if you're living somewhere with extreme temperatures. But we will test that. I'm going to test this again next week, maybe this weekend, in my bedroom with air that's about 70 degrees and see if we can get any difference when letting this run. I'll even do it with the ice cubes. I'll bring a bucket up there and see if we can get any kind of noticeable change. Again, this will be measured by the Fubot. So far so good. I think the price point of this is definitely great. You're getting a humidifier and a fan in one. Again, the cooling feature is yet to be determined on how well it does, but I think it will definitely make a difference because I don't know if you've ever seen on like YouTube, people have done like the kind of homemade air conditioners with a block of ice. Not the safest thing, but this does it all in one in a safe way. So this is definitely something that's going to at least, I think that the air temperature will definitely decrease with this unit. I'm just not sure how much and how long that ice will last in there. It might be something you might have to keep adding over and over again to really get a noticeable difference. But if you're blowing air that's running over ice water or through a media, you're definitely going to get a decrease in air temperature. And I haven't read through the entire manual yet on what they recommend, but we will test that at a later date. So guys, I hope you liked my review of this particular product. I think so far it's a fantastic addition to my home. I want to go ahead and thank the folks at Quilo for sponsoring this video and sending me this unit to review and share with you guys and become part of my smart home. Remember, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to be notified, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked what I had to say about this particular unit. If you have any questions whatsoever, you guys know I'm the first one you guys can contact with any questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll bump that right up the chain over to the folks at whatever unit that I review or whatever product that I review and get you guys a solid answer. If you do want to make a purchase for this device, if you are in the market for a humidifier and a fan, $130, pretty fair price for what you're getting. And the fact that I'm pretty certain this is going to make a noticeable difference in the temperature. They say up to 10 degrees, and I'm sure they're spot on with that. So, guys, thanks again for watching. As always, have a great video. If you want to make a purchase, please do it through my links in the description. That does help to support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, have a wonderful day.